Hey everybody, Sean from The Good Dog. Look at this day that we've got. A little chilly, a little bit chillier than usual, but I like it because that means get to wear a jacket. Guys, I've been riding like a madman for hours. I don't know, since about 6:30 this morning. Oodles and oodles of posts and pieces and quotes and content for the book. So, and I love it. It's great. But that means that the rest of today is going to be non-dog related. So, if you don't want to hear me talk about anything that's not dog related, I'll see you. Come back tomorrow. I'm sorry, I'm just all tapped out with dog stuff. Maybe while I'm out on a walk or something, I'll get inspired. Right now, I need a little shift of gears. So hopefully you guys are down to take a little shift with me. And I think we can talk about some stuff that'll be at least as valuable as dog stuff, right? All right, so cut me some slack. I'll be back with the dog stuff soon. All right, so let's talk about this. I call this emptying your head. I'm trying to stay out of the wind, guys, so hopefully you can hear me. I'll talk loud. Emptying your head. I used to really struggle with insomnia. Ooh, we really got some wind going. I'm gonna put my hand here like a little windscreen. Let's see if that does anything. It's not a real fancy windscreen. I used to struggle with a ton of insomnia. Anxiety's always been kind of an ongoing for a lot of people that are driven and trying to do big things. Boy, that doesn't work. Anxiety's kind of a I don't want to say a constant companion, but definitely something that's very common with people that are driven and trying to make things happen. So those were bad things, right? The anxiety is no way to live. Super takes a huge toll on you, on your quality of life, the way you feel physically, the way you feel emotionally, across the board. Of course, if you're not sleeping, damn that wind, if you're not sleeping right, if you're waking up or you can't just like get to sleep, which is I think more the common one for me, was just not being able to get to sleep. I would do what I would call the, what did I call it? It was like kind of like the cyclones, like the anxiety cyclone. What I would do, because I had all of these important things in my head that I was trying to hold on to, I would have them circulating in like a cyclone constantly in some part of my mind. Maybe not right in front, but constantly like going on and on and on. And so what would happen is when the noise of the day was going on, it was enough to kind of drown a lot of that out and kind of keep me in an okay space. But you know what happens. We all know what happens. You get in bed, lights go off, it gets quiet. And what happens? The brain goes. All that sound that was drowning out the brain, it ain't there anymore. Now all you got is brain noise. And the cyclones start spinning. You gotta make sure you don't forget again. And oh God, you haven't called the doctor. No. I need this appointment. And oh, I forgot this. And it goes and it goes and goes. For me, I found, and it may be different for you, but for me, I found that the cyclone was my method of keeping track of important things, keeping track of important things to make sure that I didn't forget them, right? Now it seems like there'd be an easy fix for this, and there is, but it sure took me an awful long time to find it. So some of you may have already figured this complex equation out. Some of you may still be stuck like me. It's a weird human aversion we have to doing this. So I know I've talked to a lot of friends that struggle with it. So hopefully this will be helpful for you guys. Anyways, so that's where I found myself. Insomnia, anxiety, anytime there were quiet moments, brain noise, and like, we're talking about like heart pounding, we're talking about sweat, we're talking about the real stuff. We're not talking about like, oh, I can't get to sleep. We're talking about like, this sucks. This physically hurts. This is really uncomfortable. This is damaging my next day. The whole thing, quality of life, everything, down the pooper, right? What did I start doing that turned all of that around? I wrote everything down. I just wrote everything down. And that's what I call emptying your head. So what I have is I have a to-do list, right? Which has both stuff that needs so my to-do list has big goals across the top. It has stuff that needs to get done either today or in the next day or two. And then at the bottom, it has stuff coming soon to a theater near you. all the stuff that's kind of like in the distance but needs to get handled eventually, but not right now. But stuff that if I don't write it down, even though it doesn't need to get done right now, guess what'll happen? Damn this wind, I'm gonna head over here. Guess what'll happen? That cyclone will start going, because it'll be trying to remind you about those things that don't need to get done right now, but they're important, right? So that was the first step I took, right? So bear with me as I kind of unwrap and unpack this. So I started writing everything down, right? To-do list, the whole deal. That helped immensely, immensely. And then what I started doing is, you know, once, like, and this is back in the day, now that everybody's got a cell phone, there was a time when cell phones weren't around, and I was around when they weren't around, especially like fancy smartphones like this. What I started doing was creating in the notes section of my iPhone a whole big assortment of different topics that were things like, you know, just folders, if you will, like where I would put ideas. So I have like a catch-all, which is ongoing, and ongoing is basically anything that comes up that's important to me, or that might be important to me, or that I think has a chance of being important, it gets put there if it doesn't have a better, more specific, precise category. Anything that's more specific, like I have blogs, tips, I have quotes, and I don't mean quotes like quotes from other people, I mean like quotes that I think will be valuable for training or for posts, for content. If you went through my notes section, you would see like it goes on and on and on. There are so many different headings, and what I do is basically use it as a place to put the cyclone. So instead of the cyclone being up here in my head, the cyclone's in my phone, and the cyclone's on my paper, my to-do list, and my notes in my iPhone. And I can't tell you guys how much this has changed my life, how much easier it is. I get to sleep right away. Anxiety reduced tremendous amounts. Not saying it's perfect, not saying every day is just like a breeze, but geez Louise, is it a vastly, amazingly, crazy different feeling and way of going through life when you don't have that, like, it's like noise just playing in the background. It just keeps going. Even when you're doing other stuff, it's still there. It's still edgy. It's still kind of, you know, working on you. But in those quiet times, boy, it'll just boom. It'll, what's the term? Not ransack you. It'll waylay you, or something like that. You know what I'm talking about. Anyways, I just want to share that with you guys. I want to just reiterate before we close this out that if any of you are struggling with anxiety, struggling with productivity, or insomnia or anything like that, I would love for you guys to give this a shot. Any of you, it seems so simple that like, oh, that couldn't help. I'm telling you, I know so many people that started doing this that sleep better, get way more done, and are way less anxious. So it's so simple, but it works like a mother. So a mother that works really hard. Anyways, so don't all mothers. Anyways, guys, that's my recommendation. Empty your head. Do not keep the cyclone spinning in your head unless you want a miserable life full of anxiety and sleepless nights. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's so easy, but you have to start the habit. That's the whole thing I was talking about early in the video, is that we have this weird aversion to doing it, to taking the time out of our day to write stuff down. I don't know if it's because we're worried once we write it down, we actually are accountable. I'm not sure what the mechanism is, but there's a big resistance to it. And if you can get over that resistance and create a new habit where every thought that comes into your head that you think might have some value or something you need to do down the line, even if it's a long ways away, you write it down, or you type it in your phone, or you do both, man, it'll change your quality of life. It'll change how you move through life. It'll change what you accomplish. It'll change how you feel. You'll be so much happier. Empty that head. So with that, I'm gonna let you guys go. And like I said, no dog talk. Today is like personal development day. And I think it's a good shift of gears. And we'll see what else I've got to chat about today with you peeps. Anybody have any questions about this, any comments, anything like that? Or if you've had personal breakthroughs, right? If it's been something that's really helped you out, make sure you put it in the comments so other people can see it. Because a lot of people will be like, nah, I don't know if that's really gonna work. If it's helped you, or you've got a mechanism that's really helped you, even something different than what I've shared, share it so other people can grab from it and maybe find something that works for them. But whatever you guys do, empty that head of yours, otherwise, drive you nuts. All right, guys, Sean from The Good Dog. See ya.